We're all taught that finance is this complicated world of spreadsheets and numbers and formulas. But what if I told you that the single biggest factor for building wealth has nothing to do with your IQ? Today, we're diving into a pretty wild idea that your financial success is less about what you know and way, way more about how you behave.
And to really get this, let's kick things off with a story, a true story that, honestly, seems to defy all logic. It's about two men from totally different worlds whose financial lives couldn't have ended more differently. So on one side, you've got Ronald Reed. He was a gas station attendant and a janitor in rural Vermont his whole life. And on the other side, Richard Fiscone, a Harvard-educated, high-flying executive at Merrill Lynch. One guy worked with his hands, the other worked in a corner office. Now, when Ronald Reed passed away, it turned out he had a little secret. His net worth, a jaw-dropping $8 million. Yes, the janitor. And Richard Fiscone, the financial whiz with a Harvard degree, he got completely wiped out in the 2008 financial crisis. Declared bankruptcy. His massive mansion had to be sold for a loss. So, how on earth does that happen? How is that even possible? Well, the answer gets right to the heart of our relationship with money. And believe me, it has nothing to do with how smart you are. That story right there, it perfectly illustrates our main point. Finance isn't really a hard science, It's a soft skill. It's a psychological game. You can be an absolute genius and still lose everything because of ego and fear. Or you can be a totally ordinary person and build a fortune just through patience and discipline. This brings us to the first crucial principle, and it's not about being a genius. It's about endurance. It's about just staying in the game long enough for the magic to happen. And here's a really key distinction. Getting money and keeping money are two totally different skills. Getting it often takes risk, maybe some luck, but keeping it, that takes something completely different. It takes humility. It takes realizing that what you've earned can vanish just as quickly. I mean, just look at Warren Buffett. We all think of him as a stock-picking genius, but a huge part of his success is that he started investing when he was a little kid, 10 years old. His real superpower wasn't just making money, it was surviving. He lived through 14 recessions without freaking out and selling everything. His greatest skill was just staying in the game. And that survival instinct leads us to the most powerful force in all of finance. It's not about trying to time the market perfectly, it's all about time in the market. This quote about Buffett just says it all. We all hunt for these complex formulas, these secret strategies, but the most powerful force is just good old-fashioned time. The real magic is compounding. Okay, to really put this into perspective, let's look at Buffett's net worth. It's about $84.5 billion. It's a mind-boggling number, but the real story is where it actually came from. Now get this, of that $84.5 billion, a staggering $81.5 billion of it was earned after his 65th birthday. Think about that for a second. That's compounding just going wild. His returns started earning their own returns, creating this snowball that turned into an avalanche over decades. His secret wasn't just being a good investor, it was being a good investor since he was practically a toddler. So, if time is the key, why do so many of us interrupt that process? Well, it's because fear is incredibly seductive. Pessimism it sounds smarter, doesn't it? When someone predicts a big crash, we lean in, we listen. When they predict growth, we think, they're just trying to sell me something. And that fear makes us sell at the worst possible time, totally destroying years of patient compounding. This brings up another huge psychological trap we all fall into, confusing being rich with being wealthy. Being rich is visible. It's the fancy car, the expensive clothes, it's what you spend. But wealth is invisible. It's the money you haven't spent. It's the savings, the investments, the assets that are quietly working for you, buying you freedom. And here is the great irony of it all. When you see someone driving a Ferrari, you don't actually know they're wealthy. All you know for sure is that they have $250,000 less than they used to. True wealth is what you don't see. It's the freedom and the options that your unspent money provides. And that freedom, those options, that unspent money buys you, what does that really mean? At the end of the day, it all boils down to a single, universal human desire. This is it. This is the real endgame. The greatest thing your money can ever buy you is control over your own time. The ultimate dividend isn't more stuff, it's autonomy. It's waking up and owning your day. Let's make this super tangible. Wealth isn't the sports car. Wealth is having 6 months of living expenses tucked away so you don't have to take the first job offer that comes along. It's having that buffer so you can look at a toxic boss and say, you know what, I'm out of here. That is real financial freedom.
So how do we actually do this? First, you've got to decide what enough means to you. Otherwise, the goalposts will just keep moving forever. Second, pick a strategy that lets you sleep well at night, not one that promises the highest possible returns but stresses you out. And third, stop calling it savings. Call it a freedom fund. Every dollar you put in is literally buying back your future time. Ultimately, it all boils down to this one question. If you can master the psychology, the patience, the humility, that long-term perspective, the numbers and the math will pretty much take care of themselves. The only real unknown in the equation is you.